Admiral Krell never imagined his final conquest would involve learning to appreciate a good cup of coffee. He stood on the observation deck of the Imperial flagship Sovereign Dominion, his four arms clasped behind his back, staring at the pale blue sphere suspended in the void. Earth. Such an insignificant little world, yet here it was, number 38 on the Galactic Empire's integration list. His secondary eyes blinked in rhythm with the quantum drive's pulse, while his primary pair remained fixed on humanity's homeworld. "Supreme Commander Vashra demands your status report, Admiral," announced Officer Drix, the communications specialist whose tentacles danced across multiple interface panels. Krell's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. "Tell her everything proceeds according to doctrine. The natives remain unaware. Our stealth matrices function perfectly." He surveyed the tactical display with pride. 3,000 warships hung in perfect formation, each vessel capable of reducing continents to slag. The Sovereign Dominion alone carried enough firepower to crack planetary crusts. These humans, with their primitive rockets and orbital stations, would submit within hours. They always did. "Admiral, our cultural analysts have finished their preliminary assessment," Drix said, his vocal sac inflating nervously. "Summarize." "The species exhibits unusual behavior, sir. They dedicate extraordinary resources to something called entertainment. They deliberately simulate conflicts and catastrophes for amusement. Our specialists find this confusing." Krell waved two hands dismissively. "Lesser civilizations create elaborate distractions from their meaningless existence. Once they witness true power, such foolishness ends." He turned toward his bridge crew, each member representing a previously conquered species. "Begin final preparations. I want our formation visible when we drop stealth protocols. Let them comprehend the magnificence of Imperial might before we transmit surrender terms." The bridge hummed with activity. Krell returned his attention to Earth, imagining the panic soon to grip its inhabitants. Perhaps Supreme Commander Vashra would finally grant him his own sector governorship after this triumph. He'd certainly earned it. "Detecting unusual energy patterns from the planet," Drix reported. "They're broadcasting entertainment signals at increased rates." "Irrelevant," Krell declared. "They may distract themselves during their final hours of autonomy." As the fleet made final positioning adjustments, Krell allowed himself a moment of anticipatory satisfaction. This would be routine, standard Imperial procedure flawlessly executed. He had no concept how spectacularly wrong he was. Krell straightened his ceremonial armor, its chrome surfaces gleaming under the bridge's ambient lighting. "Deactivate stealth protocols. Transmit standard Imperial surrender demand on all frequencies." The massive fleet shimmered into visibility above Earth's atmosphere. 3,000 vessels, appearing like a new constellation against the darkness. Krell activated the broadcast system, his voice carrying the weight of countless subjugated worlds. "People of Earth," he began, employing the Empire's most intimidating diplomatic protocols. "Your planet has been selected for integration into the Galactic Empire. Resistance is pointless. You have one planetary rotation to surrender all governing bodies and submit to Imperial authority. Should you refuse—" "Admiral," Drix's tentacles thrashed in confusion. "We're receiving thousands of responses. They're not standard planetary leadership communications. Display them." The main screen filled with images humans called memes. One showed Krell's own face, expertly edited with a colorful conical hat and text reading, "Shows up to conquer Earth. Doesn't even bring snacks." Another displayed the Imperial fleet captioned, "Space DoorDash looking kinda aggressive today." Krell's scales shifted through several shades of purple. "What is this?" "Sir, humans are broadcasting these across their global information network. They're turning our surrender demand into something called a trending topic." More responses flooded the screens. Someone had created a parody song of his surrender speech, set to a disturbingly catchy melody. It was accumulating what humans called views at an alarming rate. "This is unprecedented," Krell growled, all four hands gripping his command console. "No species has ever responded to Imperial surrender demands with entertainment." He forced composure back into his posture. "Transmit the follow-up threat. Demonstrate our planet-cracking capabilities." The fleet shifted into attack formation. Several ships vaporized a small, uninhabited moon, reducing it to dispersing particles in a spectacular display of destructive power. Krell prepared his second speech. "Admiral," Drix interrupted again, "humans are organizing what they call watch parties. They're gathering in public spaces with food and beverages to observe our demonstrations. An influencer is live-streaming our formation with commentary about our ship's aesthetic design choices. Krell's facial scales deepened to near violet. They dare critique our vessel architecture. Imperial fleet design has terrorized countless civilizations. They're not terrorized, sir, Drix said quietly. They're rating our ships on something called space aesthetic vibes, discussing which ones would make optimal selfie backgrounds. A human entertainment channel appeared on auxiliary displays, providing live coverage of the invasion complete with expert analysis and social media reactions. The hosts debated whether the Imperial fleet's color scheme was a bit too last season. Enough, Krell bellowed. Launch the intimidation probes. Show them consequences of their insolence. Thousands of probes descended toward Earth's major population centers, designed to project fear-inducing holograms of planetary devastation. Within minutes, humans had incorporated these projections into their entertainment. Street performers used them as backgrounds for impromptu dance performances. The humans have started a competition, Drix reported hesitantly, to create memes about our invasion. The current top entry shows our fleet with text saying, "Mom said it's our turn to play with the solar system." Krell slumped into his command seat, all four hands massaging his temples. In 3 centuries of conquest, he'd never encountered a species that responded to imminent destruction with jokes. The Empire's carefully calibrated intimidation protocols were useless against opponents who transformed threats into entertainment. Sir, should we proceed to the next invasion phase? How can we invade a planet refusing to take us seriously? Krell muttered. The Empire's reputation for striking fear into enemy hearts is currently being used as a template for something humans call a dance challenge. Supreme Commander Vashra's hologram materialized, her crystalline armor reflecting the bridge's harsh lighting. Admiral Krell, explain why I'm receiving reports of humans rating our invasion on something called Yelp. 3 stars for acceptable spectacle but monotone threatening messages lacking background music. Krell's scales paled. Supreme Commander, we're implementing standard intimidation protocols. Phase 3 will surely deploy the Eternal Night Formation. The entire Imperial fleet executed its carefully choreographed maneuver. Thousands of ships moving in perfect synchronization to eclipse Earth's sun. The formation had made hardened warrior species beg for mercy. Formation complete, Krell announced. Now they'll understand true power. Humans are using our ships as a backdrop for an outdoor festival, Drix interrupted. They're calling it Space Cella. Attendance exceeds millions. The main screen displayed crowds gathering in open spaces worldwide. They lounged on blankets, sharing food and drinks while pointing at the fleet above. Vendors sold glow sticks designed to match Imperial engine signatures. They're having picnics, Krell's voice cracked. During an invasion, not just picnics, sir. They're hosting viewing parties with commentary tracks. Several astronomers are providing detailed technical analysis of our fleet positioning. One just called our formation aesthetically pleasing but lacking originality. A notification flashed. Someone had created a social media filter allowing humans to take pictures wearing virtual Imperial armor. It had gone viral. Deploy the fear inducers, Krell ordered desperately. All frequencies, maximum power. The fleet's most advanced psychological warfare technology activated, broadcasting subsonic frequencies designed to trigger primal panic responses. The human reaction was unexpected. Sir, they're using our fear-inducer frequencies as baselines for dance music, Drix reported, his tentacles trembling. Several musicians are already releasing remixes. One reached something called the top charts. Supreme Commander Vashra's hologram flickered with barely contained rage. Admiral, explain why our invasion has its own entertainment category on their streaming platforms. Before Krell could respond, new alerts erupted across Drix's console. Humans are organizing a fleet watch competition, awarding prizes for most creative viewing methods. The current leader rented a floating restaurant for a space invasion-themed dinner. The screen showed humans everywhere treating the invasion like an elaborate performance. Families spread blankets in parks. Young humans balanced devices called phones on selfie sticks. Food trucks lined every viewing location. They've started raiding our individual ships, Drix continued. The Sovereign Dominion is trending because someone said its design resembles a Gothic cathedral crossed with a disco ball. Krell slumped further. How many military vessels are in Earth's orbit? None, sir. Their Space Force hasn't deployed, though they're using orbital cameras to create a live-stream documentary about our fleet's architectural influences. No military response whatsoever, Drix hesitated. They launched several small devices toward our ships, camera drones. They're capturing footage for something called an Imperial Fleet Instagram reel. A new notification chimed. Sir, we're being invited to participate in multiple talk shows. They want to interview you about your inspiration for the invasion aesthetic and whether you'd consider collaborating with their entertainment industry. Supreme Commander Vashra loomed over the bridge. Admiral Krell, in my centuries of conquest, I've never witnessed such complete intimidation failure. These humans are making us look trendy. Imperial fashion is now, as they say, all the rage, Drix supplied. Several clothing designers have released collections inspired by our armor. Enough, Vashra roared. Admiral, commence military operations immediately. I want this planet under Imperial control before they transform our entire invasion into an entertainment franchise. Krell straightened. Yes, Supreme Commander, all ships, battle formations. Launch the Seekers. Thousands of automated combat drones poured from Imperial vessels, quantum weapons primed. They descended toward Earth's major cities in perfect attack formation, ready to demonstrate overwhelming military superiority. Humans are deploying something against our Seekers, Drix reported. Finally, display their primitive defensive weapons. The main screen showed the human response. Krell's jaw dropped. Thousands of small aerial devices rose to meet the Seekers, each trailing a banner. Some carried messages like "Welcome to Earth," "Try our tacos." Others displayed corporate logos and promotional codes. Those are advertising drones, Drix explained. They're using them to sell products to our invasion force. The Seekers, programmed to engage hostile military targets, found themselves surrounded by decidedly non-military devices. Their combat algorithms struggled. Sir, our Seekers are becoming entangled in sponsored content. 3 squadrons have received promotional offers for local restaurants. Krell slammed all 4 hands on his console. Launch ground forces. Deploy the Devastator mechs. Massive war machines descended from the fleet, each capable of leveling cities. They landed in strategic locations, ready to begin their unstoppable advance. Again, humans had other ideas. Humans are approaching our Devastator mechs with food trucks, Drix said, his voice quivering with disbelief. The screen showed massive war machines surrounded by vehicles selling various Earth cuisines. Crowds gathered, treating the invasion force like a festival attraction. They're calling it Meals with Mechs, Drix continued. It's becoming a social media sensation. Several ground commanders report humans attempting to take pictures with their troops. A Devastator mech pilot appeared on the command channel. Sir, they're offering us something called street tacos. Our xenobiologists confirmed they're safe for consumption, but is this permitted under Imperial protocol? Before Krell could respond, another crisis emerged. Our electronic warfare systems are being overwhelmed by Wi-Fi requests, Drix announced. Humans are trying to connect to our battle network to post reviews of the invasion. Reports flooded in from around the planet. Imperial shock troops found themselves invited to neighborhood barbecues. Strategic command centers were being tagged on Google Maps as tourist attractions. Human children had started playing hide and seek with elite Imperial assassins. Humans have started a betting pool, Drix said. They're wagering on which of our weapons will be, quote, totally awesome but completely impractical. A Devastator mech commander's distressed voice crackled through. Requesting guidance. Humans are organizing a block party around my unit. They're using my leg stabilizers as a DJ booth backdrop. Our psychological warfare specialists report total system failure, another officer added. Humans are describing our fear-inducing battle cries as perfect podcast intro material. Supreme Commander Vashra's hologram reappeared, radiating fury. Your invasion force is being converted into an entertainment venue. Humans are selling tickets to watch our troops march. We're trying, Supreme Commander, Krell protested weakly. But their weapons are hospitality and marketing. You need to see this, Drix interrupted. Humans started a social media challenge called Invader Makeover. They're offering fashion advice to our troops. Several platoons have received complimentary skincare samples. The bridge crew watched in mounting horror as their fearsome invasion force systematically transformed into what humans called content. Elite warriors found themselves coached on proper lighting for selfies. Battle droids became backdrops for amateur music videos. Someone created an app allowing humans to rate their invasion experience, Drix reported with resignation. We're getting marked down for insufficient vegetarian options at landing zones. Admiral Krell paced the bridge, all four hands clasped behind his back, scales shifting through various frustration shades. The holographic display showed what humans called trending topics. Every single one concerned the invasion, but not remotely as the Empire intended. Status of Operation Eternal Terror, he demanded. Drix's tentacles drooped. Our elite terror squadrons have gone viral, sir. Squad leader Commander Vix gained a following after humans noticed his, quote, adorably grumpy expression. The screen showed Commander Vix, one of their most decorated warriors, looking bewildered as humans crowded around for group selfies. His signature terrifying snarl had been converted into an emoji. Our soldiers are becoming social media influencers, Drix continued. 3 squadrons received sponsorship offers from human companies. The 7th Nebula Corps is now sponsored by an energy drink. Supreme Commander Vashra's voice boomed through the bridge. Admiral, explain why I'm observing our troops participating in TikTok challenges. The display showed Imperial soldiers, still in full battle armor, attempting to recreate human dance moves. Their combat training, designed for maximum battlefield efficiency, apparently translated well into choreography. It deteriorates further, sir, Drix added. The planetary Devastator crews are competing for likes. They're using thermal cannons to toast marshmallows for humans. Footage showed one of their most powerful weapons, capable of melting mountains, being used to create s'mores, while humans cheered and recorded. Launch the Mind Shredders, Krell commanded, his voice cracking. Show them the true horror of Imperial psychic warfare. The Empire's most advanced psychic warriors deployed, ready to fill human minds with unspeakable terrors. Within hours, Drix had more disturbing news. Sir, the Mind Shredders are becoming meditation guides. Humans praise their ability to really help you disconnect from daily stress. They're booking sessions. A Mind Shredder appeared on the command channel, thoroughly confused. Admiral, humans are requesting mindfulness workshops. They say our psychic terror projections are perfect for achieving inner peace. What should we do? Our battle meditation chambers are being reviewed on wellness apps, Drix added. 5 stars for ambience? The situation in orbit was equally problematic. The Imperial fleet's most impressive formations, designed to instill cosmic despair, had become backgrounds for human photography. Someone organized a space photography contest called Shots Fired, featuring artistic images of their weapon systems. A junior officer reported, humans started a betting pool on which Imperial ship has optimal lighting for social media content. The Sovereign Dominion currently leads, but the Doombringer is gaining popularity for its retro sci-fi aesthetic. Krell watched his invasion force transform into more content. Elite shock troops gave makeup tutorials using battle paint techniques. Stealth operatives were asked for tips on better shadow selfies. The humans started a reality show, Drix announced with mixed awe and horror. It's called Invader Makeover, where they give style advice to our troops. The episode featuring the Plasma Corps got 10 million views within an hour. A particularly distressing report arrived from Ground Forces Command. Humans discovered our battle robots excel at synchronized dancing. They're organizing competitions. 3 units received talent agent offers. The Sovereign Dominion has been tagged as an Instagram-worthy location, Drix's voice trembled. We're trending in travel blogs. The final straw came when Shadow Walker Prime, the Empire's most feared assassin, appeared on the command channel. Admiral, the legendary warrior said with unusual uncertainty, humans are requesting my presence at a comic convention. They want me to judge a costume contest of people dressed as me. Supreme Commander Vashra materialized, her hologram vibrating with rage. Admiral Krell, your invasion force has become an entertainment franchise. Our troops are getting verified on social media. The Galactic Empire is being tagged in fashion blogs. Supreme Commander, we've tried everything, Krell protested. Terror tactics, psychological warfare, shows of force. They've converted it all into content. Our fearsome reputation is being marketed as a brand, Vashra roared. Humans are making tutorial videos on recreating our battle armor using craft supplies. Krell was forming a response when something extraordinary caught his attention. Humans were broadcasting a unified message from their global network. Rather than surrender or pleading for mercy, it was an invitation. Greetings, Imperial Fleet. We've noticed you seem stressed. How about we discuss this over our newly organized Galactic Food Festival? We're featuring dishes from every Earth culture, plus open mic night for Imperial troops wanting to share invasion stories. We promise great food, better company, and absolutely no military conflict. What do you say? The bridge fell silent. Even Supreme Commander Vashra's hologram seemed at a loss. Sir, Drix said quietly, our cultural analysis team completed a revised report on human psychology. They believe we fundamentally misunderstood Earth's defense strategy. Explain. Humans don't resist through force, sir. They absorb. They take what threatens them and transform it into something they can enjoy. Our invasion isn't failing because our weapons are ineffective. It's failing because they've converted us into entertainment. New transmissions showed scenes from around the planet. Imperial troops sat in human cafes, apparently engaged in stand-up comedy about invasion experiences. Battle robots taught dance classes. A mind shredder led a meditation session called Finding Peace Through Cosmic Terror. Furthermore, Drix continued, our troops report unprecedented job satisfaction levels. The 7th Nebula Corps is requesting permanent assignment to Earth as cultural ambassadors. Their commander says they've never felt more appreciated. Supreme Commander Vashra's hologram flickered thoughtfully. In 30,000 years of Imperial expansion, we've never encountered a species that conquered us by simply refusing to be conquered. They started a scholarship program, Drix added. Humans want to study Imperial culture, but only the entertaining parts. They're calling it the Galactic Cultural Exchange Initiative. Krell watched as more reports flooded in. Imperial soldiers were learning human jokes. Battle strategists were being consulted for entertainment production. The Sovereign Dominion's engine signature had been converted into a popular music track. Perhaps, he said slowly, we should consider a different approach. Computer, analyze historical data. Has any species successfully invaded Earth? Negative, the computer responded. However, Earth demonstrates the highest cultural integration rate in the known galaxy. They don't defeat opponents. They befriend them. The bridge crew watched as humans continued their relentless hospitality offensive. Food trucks had reached even the most remote Imperial positions. The Doombringer crew was participating in a potluck dinner. Supreme Commander Vashra's expression shifted from rage to contemplation. Admiral, we have a choice. We can continue this increasingly absurd invasion attempt, or we can accept their invitation, Krell finished, and claim this was a cultural exchange mission all along. Precisely. After all, the Empire's reputation for adaptability is nearly as legendary as its military might. Krell straightened his armor, which humans had dubbed totally retro-chic, and made his decision. Officer Drix, prepare a fleet-wide announcement. The Galactic Empire officially recognizes Earth as a premium entertainment partner. Their marketing team already prepared the press release, Drix suggested helpfully. 6 months later, Admiral Krell sat in his favorite Earth cafe, sipping something called a caramel macchiato while reading galactic news on his datapad. The top story featured the unprecedented success of the Human Imperial Cultural Exchange Program. More refreshments, Admiral? Asked Rachel, the cafe owner who'd somehow become his unofficial Earth cultural advisor. The new batch of Imperial officers just arrived for orientation. They looked nervous. Through the window, he watched newly arrived Imperial troops being welcomed with gift bags complete with social media starter guides and restaurant recommendations. Who would have imagined, he mused, that our greatest military failure would become our most significant diplomatic success? The Empire's fearsome reputation had transformed. Now their ships were famous for hosting the best parties in 5 galaxies. Imperial diplomatic functions, once dreaded for rigid formality, were highly sought after for their entertainment value. Even Supreme Commander Vashra had embraced the change, recently winning a TikTok challenge with surprisingly good dance moves. Sir, Drix approached, his tentacles now adorned with friendship bracelets. The latest statistics are available. Imperial recruitment increased 300% since we started including Earth postings. Apparently, the chance to become a social media influencer appeals to young officers. The Sovereign Dominion, still in Earth orbit, had become a popular tourist destination. Its war room was now a trendy restaurant called the Strategic Dining Initiative. where former battle planners created elaborate dinner presentations using tactical holographic projectors. Krell smiled as he watched a group of Imperial cadets and human social media experts collaborating on a viral marketing campaign. The galaxy was changing, becoming less about conquest and more about connections. All because humans had refused to take an invasion seriously. "You know, Drix," he said, finishing his coffee, "I think we might be the first empire in history to accidentally conquer ourselves." As if to prove his point, a notification appeared on his datapad. His latest holotube video, reacting to Earth memes about my failed invasion, had just hit 10 million views. Krell leaned back in his chair, watching humans and aliens interact seamlessly around him. Perhaps this was better than conquest. Perhaps humanity had taught the galaxy something far more valuable than submission, the art of cosmic hospitality. The galaxy, it seemed, had finally learned to laugh.